Well, we are always excited when we can catch up with the queen of bluegrass, Rhonda Vincent. Rhonda, always great to have you on our show.
Great to talk to you. Beautiful day here in Nashville.
As you and I mentioned before we started our interview, it just seems like this summer has been a blur. The time is just kind of passing by ever so quickly, and I guess that comes with the territory when you're busy. I know you are certainly out on the road, and of course with all the events and activities the summer season brings, it's always something going on.
Well, and this year is even more so. That's why I've been, just before I talked to you, I'm in Christmas production, and we're talking about wardrobe for the Christmas program. We're doing over 30 days in Branson at Silver Dollar City, and so excited about that.
I noticed that. That's going to be an outstanding production. I know you did that a few years back, and I know lots of folks love to travel out to Branson and enjoy the shows out there, and I know that that'll be a tremendous thing for people to enjoy this holiday season.
It's going to be awesome. And we've never done really anything exactly like this, and I just found out the guys are they don't even have to wash their clothes or press them. They hate having to iron their clothes, you know. They're going to have dressers to take care of to ironing and cleaning and making sure they look perfect before they walk out on stage. It's like, holy cow, wait till they find out. They don't even know about this yet.
That'd be awesome. That's something one could get used to.
I know. Well, they better not get used to it, because I'm not doing it on the bus.
Not going to hire someone to do that on the bus, huh?
I was telling her, I said, look over sometime, and I said, there's a wrinkle on their knee, or the pants were on the hanger. I'm like, why didn't you iron that? It's like, they're like, oh, I don't want to iron this. She said, I will not allow anyone to walk on stage with any wrinkles whatsoever. It's like, oh, this is going to be so fun.
You know, I see you've got dates coming up at the Grand Ole Opry, and of course, we were all saddened to learn that one of the great legendary ladies of the Opry, Jeanie Seeley, passed away on August 1st. You know, Rhonda, she was such a great lady, contributed so much to the history of country music over the years, 57 years as an Opry member and 5,397 performances. Just amazing.
Unbelievable. What a dear friend that she was. I miss her so much. I talked to her just a couple of weeks ago. It doesn't even seem real, because she was so larger than life. And I was talking to Cutter and Cash. We were sitting in the hospital last week, and it's like this, it just doesn't even seem possible. It doesn't seem real, because, just what an amazing personality and person that she was. It's like you just can't imagine her not here.
Well, the thing that always struck me about Jeanie, and I'm sure you'll agree, she was always seemed to be the type of person who, with new and incoming talent at the Opry, she always seemed to be like one that would always extend a hand almost as a mentor and help guide new people. She was always really one to be able to make friends easily.
I didn't care who it was. She would make her way to their dressing room and welcome them there, get a picture with them. It didn't matter who they were. And I look at that as a great example, and I'm like, I wish I could do that. I always feel like, oh, I'm bothering them, or they don't want to do that. But she didn't care. She would go over and say, when, if she couldn't see them right away, when can I see them to welcome them here? She would talk to their management. When can I? Not if I can, but when can I? And I love that about her. She was always new ideas, writing every word that came out of her mouth was a lyric. You could just walk around and follow her around and write down everything that she said. But yes, always so welcoming to everyone and new ideas. This has probably been a year ago, I think. She bought the most ugliest pair of silver shoes, like silver sandals. She bought a pair for her and a pair for me, and we put them on and got pictures with them, and then she was going to throw them in the trash. I was like, what are you doing? Oh, she said, I just got that for something fun, because always looking for something like that. And I said, well, don't throw them away. I said, I'll wear them to kick around in the bus barn or outside or something. They become one of my favorite shoes, and I looked down, I just had forgotten I had those yesterday, and I looked at them, and I had her sign the sides of the shoes, of both shoes, of one pair, I guess, not my pair. But anyway, I have her pair that she signed, and I love them. I'm going to cherish these. I'm going to wear them, and I might just always wear them into the Opry, I'm thinking.
You know, the other thing about Jeanie that Rhonda always stood out to me was her resilience. You know, after that flood happened in Nashville and did all that devastation, a lot of our listeners know her house was destroyed, but she wasn't deterred by that. She rebuilt, and she loved living on the river. In fact, for those of our listeners that that were Facebook friends with her, she made a habit of posting just pictures of the river almost on a regular basis. She loved that river.
Every day. Yes, every day.
Even back in 2020, she just kept pressing forward. She did that final album of her career, the American Classic, and I believe you had worked with her a little bit on that project.
I did. I got to sing. I'm all through Crying Over You with her. I love that song. I'm going to have to learn it too. I pretty much know it, but I thought I want to continue to sing that in her honor. And, I did the Opry Country Classics, and I did songs by Loretta and Barbara Mandrell and Loretta Lynn, but I did the song Don't Touch Me and Leaving and Saying Goodbye. And since then, that's become a staple in our show. And that was a Grammy-winning song for her. And I'm hoping, they just announced her service is going to be next Thursday. And they're doing, I guess maybe I shouldn't give this away, but I'm hoping that you can probably live stream it from the Grand Ole Opry House. And they're doing a very special arrangement of Don't Touch Me. I'm hoping that I get to be a part of that. I'm pretty excited about that.
So many of our listeners know Jeanie from her recordings, from her work as a singer. But, in interviews, Rhonda, that I did with her over the years, it was amazing the number of things that she did. I mean, besides just singing, she wrote a lot of songs for many, many other artists. She worked in some movies. I mean, she was featured in A Honeysuckle Rose with Willie Nelson. And she also, I know she did some theater. She worked in some plays in the Nashville area. So she was involved in a lot of things.
Constantly. I mean, she woke up with all these different ideas and things that she wanted to do. And it just was always continuous. I love that.
So we will obviously miss Jeanie, her contributions to music, to the Grand Ole Opry. I told Dan Rogers, I talked to him a little while ago, and I said, whenever I would have Jeanie here in our area, she would always raise that flag for the Opry. She was proud to be an Opry member.
Absolutely. And no one loved it more except for me.
and of course, her heritage from being right here in Pennsylvania, out in the western part of the state, she always was proud of that as well. And Rhonda, something else we wanted to talk to you about is the 89th Gettysburg Bluegrass Festival. You're going to be there next Saturday on the 16th of August. It is always a fabulous time at Gettysburg, and I always truly do enjoy working with you and your band there.
Oh, I'm excited to get there, excited to see everybody. I don't know how many years, we've been there for many, many years, and it becomes like a family reunion. A lot of people that we only get to see there in Gettysburg, so they have it in May and in August. There's people that you'll see in May that aren't necessarily there in August, so or vice versa, so can't wait to get back.
I was talking to Ron of the Dry Branch Fire Squad yesterday, and he is one of the original performers who has performed at every festival in Gettysburg since 1979. And wow.
No way. Yes, I did not know that.
Yeah. In fact, Ridge told me that Ron is among the very few people still alive that were at that very first festival when it was originally founded by his father-in-law, Joe Cornett. In fact, Ron told me, he said, Joe was talking about this festival, and he says, Joe said, what would I do if somebody didn't show up that I had booked? And Ron says, well, we'll do their spot. How's that?
There it is. That's awesome.
So we will look forward to seeing you in Gettysburg, Rhonda, and till then, safe travels and, enjoy the celebratory year, the 100th year of the Grand Ole Opry. A lot going on.
We're headed there tonight and next week, so always love being there.
Excellent, and we will look forward to another exciting festival at Granite Hill Camping Resort, the 89th Gettysburg Bluegrass Festival. And we remind folks, if they'd like more information, just check out the website, GettysburgBluegrass.com.